அருட்காட்சி நகர் வாழும் ஸ்ரீ சந்திரசேகர ஜகத்குரு பாதம் பணிந்திடுவோம் நாம். அருட்காட்சி அகயிருள் போக்கி அஜ்ஞானம் தனை நீக்கி அகயிருள் போக்கி அஜ்ஞானம் தனை நீக்கி அன்பின் வடிவான சத்குருநாதனாம் அன்பின் வடிவான சத்குருநாதனாம் குருவருள் பாதம் பணிந்திடுவோம். குரு அருள் வேண்டுவோம் குறைகள் களைவோம். குரு அருள் வேண்டுவோம் குறைகள் களைவோம். இருகரம் கூப்பி இணையடி தொழுவோம். இருகரம் கூப்பி இணையடி தொழுவோம். திருவடி சரணென்று போற்றி பணிவோம். திருவடி சரணென்று போற்றி பணிவோம். அருட்பெரும் சுடரே பதமலர் பணிவோம். அருட்பெரும் சுடரே பதமலர் பணிவோம். ஜெய ஜெய சங்கர ஹர ஹர சங்கர. ஜெய ஜெய சங்கர ஹர ஹர சங்கர. ஜகத்குரு பாதம் பணிந்திடுவோம். அருட்காஞ்சி நகர் வாழும் ஸ்ரீ சந்திரசேகர ஜகத்குரு பாதம் பணிந்திடுவோம். ஜெய் போல் ஸ்ரீ சத்குரு மகாராஜ் கி ஜெய்.
ஹரி ஓம். எல்லாரும் இந்த பிரம்ம ஜிக்னாசா ஷிபிருக்கு ஸ்வாகத்தம். நெக்ஸ்ட் ஆச்சாரியஜியோட வெல்கம் அட்ரஸ்.
ஹரி ஓம் ஸ்ரீ குருபியோ நமஹ. ஸோ சாஸ்திரவாகினி மாணவர்கள் அனைவரையும் இந்த தப்போபூமி சுவாமி தயானந்த் சரஸ்வதிஜியோட தப்போபூமியான ஆனைக்கட்டிக்கு வரவேற்பதில் பெருமகிழ்ச்சி அடைகிறோம். தேங்க்யூ சுவாமிஜி ஃபார் வி ஆர் ஸோ ஹாப்பி அண்ட் பிளெஸ்ட் டு ஹவ் யூ ஹியர் டு இனாகிரேட் Inauguration session, so classes and so நமக்கு வந்து ஜாயந்திய கீதாவில் வந்து ஒரு 2 ஸ்லோகம் வரும். என்ன அப்படின்னா, பூதானாம் தேவச்சரித்தம் துக்காயச்ச சுகாயச்ச சுகாயைஹி யைவஹி சாதுனாம் துவாதிருஷாம் அச்சுதாத்மனாம் அப்படின்னு ஜாயந்திய கீதாவில் ஒரு ஸ்லோகம் வரும். அப்படின்னா என்னென்னா, பூதானாம் தேவச்சரித்தம் துக்காயச்ச சுகாயச்ச. நம்ம தேவர்களெல்லாம் வணங்குறோம்ல, அந்த தேவர்கள் வந்து நம்ம என்ன வணங்கினாலும் துக்கமும் கொடுப்பா சுகமும் கொடுப்பா இல்லையா. ஆனால் சுகாயைவைஹி சாதுனாம், சாதுக்கள் எப்படி அப்படின்னு சொன்னால், நமக்கு சுகத்தை மட்டுமே, ஹாப்பினஸ்க்காக மட்டுமே அவர்கள் வந்து நமக்கு எல்லா அந்த ஞானத்தை வந்து கொடுக்க வந்து நமக்கு முயற்சி பண்ணிகிட்டே இருப்பா. ஸோ தேவர்களுக்கும் மேலானவர்கள் ஞானிகள் அப்படின்னு இந்த இடத்துல வந்து சொல்லப்படுறது. அவர்கள் வந்து சுகம் துக்கம் ரெண்டுமே கொடுப்பா. இவா சுகத்தை கொடுப்பா, ஏன்னா ஞானம் இருக்கு அவா கிட்ட. அதே மாதிரி அடுத்த ஸ்லோகமாக சொல்கிறது, பஜந்தியே யதா தேவான் தேவா அப்பி ததைவதான் சாயேவ கர்ம சச்சிவாக சாதவோ தீனவத்சலாக. அப்படின்னா என்ன அர்த்தம்னா, நம்ம வணங்குறோம் இல்லையா, வணங்கினாலும் நமக்கு நம்ம கர்மத்தை பொறுத்து தான் தேவர்கள் கொடுக்க முடியும் இல்லையா. அவள் வந்து நம்மளோட நான் என்ன ஹைட்டில் இருக்கேனோ அதுக்கு தான் நிழல் இருக்கும் இல்லையா. அந்த மாதிரி நான் என்ன கர்ம வினைகள் செய்திருக்கேனோ அதுக்கேற்ற மாதிரி சுகம் துக்கம் கொடுப்பா. ஆனால் ஞானிகள் சாதுக்கள் எப்படி அப்படின்னு சொன்னால், தீனவத்சலா, யாரை பார்த்தாலும் அந்த கருணை மேலோங்கி இருக்கும். இவாளுக்கு இந்த ஞானத்தை நம்ம கொடுத்துட்டோம் அப்படின்னு சொன்னால் இந்த துக்கம் அவளை விட்டு போயிடும். நிரந்தரமாக அவளுக்கு துக்கம் இருக்காமல் இருக்க என்ன பண்ண முடியும் அப்படின்னு ஒருத்தரையும் பார்த்து அதை வந்து பண்ணிகிட்டே இருப்பாள். ஸோ அந்த மாதிரி ஒரு குரு பரம்பரையில் நம்ம வந்து படிச்சுட்டு இருக்கோம். அதுக்கு வந்து குரு அப்படின்னு சொன்னால் என்ன, அதுக்கு என்ன டெஃபினேஷன் கொடுக்கலாம் அப்படின்னு சொன்னால், நம்ம சுவாமி தயானந்த சரஸ்வதிஜி வந்து குரு அப்படின்னு சொன்னால் டீச்சர், அதுதான் வந்து கரெக்டான மீனிங். சிஸ்டமேட்டிக், கன்சிஸ்டன்ட் அண்ட் சிஸ்டமேட்டிக் டீச்சிங் கொடுக்குறவருக்கு பேர் தான் குரு அப்படின்னு சொல்லி அவர் வந்து எப்போவுமே சொல்வார். ஸோ அந்த மாதிரி ஏன் அந்த மாதிரி குரு அப்படின்னு நம்ம சொல்கிறோன்னா, அதுக்கு இன்னொரு ஸ்லோகம் இருக்குது. அதிகத்திய குரோ ஞானம் சாத்ரேபியோ விதரந்தியே வித்யா வாத்சல்ய நிதய சிக்ஷகா மம தெய்வதம் அப்படின்னு. அப்படிப்பட்ட குரு எப்படி அப்படின்னு சொன்னால், யார் வந்து ஒரு குரு கிட்ட கற்றுண்டு அந்த ஞானத்தை, அதுவும் அவள் எப்படி இருக்கா, வித்யா வாத்சல்ய நிதயா, அவகிட்ட தான் அந்த நிதயா அப்படின்னா ஸ்டோர் ஹவுஸ் அப்படின்னு எடுத்துக்கலாம். நம்ம ஒரு நிறைய இருக்குது அவகிட்ட, வித்யா இருக்குது, அப்புறம் வாத்சல்யம் இருக்குது. ரெண்டுமே இருந்தால் தான் மற்றவாளுக்கு சொல்லி கொடுக்க முடியும். அந்த மாதிரி இருக்கக்கூடிய அந்த குரு வந்து சிக்ஷகா, யார் நமக்கு சொல்லித்தராளோ அவள் வந்து மம தெய்வத்தம். ஸோ அந்த மாதிரி டீச்சிங் பண்ணிக்கிட்டு இருக்கக்கூடிய நம்ம குரு பரம்பரையில் வந்துட்டு இருக்கக்கூடிய நம்ம சுவாமிஜியை பற்றி நம்ம வந்து இங்கே இன்ட்ரடியூஸ் பண்ணுறதுல எனக்கு ரொம்ப ரொம்ப சந்தோஷம். ஆனைக்கட்டிக்கு வந்து இந்த ஆப்பர்ச்சுனிட்டி கிடச்சிருக்கு அப்படின்னு நினச்சாலே வந்து ரொம்ப ரொம்ப பாக்கியமாக இருக்கும். எல்லாருமே ரொம்ப பாக்கியம் செஞ்சுருக்கோம். இந்த இடத்துல வந்து நம்ம இந்த கிளாஸில் உட்காந்துருக்கோம் அப்படின்னு சொன்னாலே நிஜமாகவே நம்மெல்லாம் வந்து தேர்ந்தெடுக்கப்பட்டவர்கள் ஆஃப் ஆல் த பீப்புள். அதனால் அதை வந்து நம்ம யூட்டிலைஸ் பண்ணிக்கணும். ஸோ சுவாமிஜியை பற்றி ஒரு இன்ட்ரொடக்ஷன். சுவாமிஜி வந்து சுவாமி சதாத்மனானந்த சரஸ்வதி, சாரி சுவாமிஜி. அவர் வந்து குஜராத் ஸ்டேட்டில் பிறந்து இன்ஜினியரிங் முடிச்சுட்டு அவர் வந்து பரோடாவில் வந்து சுவாமி பிரம்மாத்மனாந்தா அவர்கிட்ட வந்து படித்து, அதுக்கப்புறம் 1989 வந்து சுவாமி தயானந்த சரஸ்வதிஜியோட கிளாஸஸ் எல்லாம் அந்த டைமில் வந்து அவர் கேட்டிருக்கார் 1989. அப்புறம் 1997 வந்து பூஜ்ய சுவாமிஜியை அவருக்கு வந்து சந்நியாச தீட்சை கொடுத்து இந்த பேர் வந்து அவருக்கு சூட்டப்பட்டது. ஸோ அதுக்கப்புறம் வந்து 1994 2014 வரைக்கும் அவர் வந்து ஆர்ஷ வித்யா கேந்திரா பெங்களூரில் வந்து அவர் ஆச்சாரியாவாக இருந்து நிறைய கோர்சஸ் வந்து அவர் எடுத்திருக்கார். நம்ம சொன்னோம் இல்லையா சிஸ்டமேட்டிக் டீச்சிங் அப்படின்னு, அதை வந்து ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ் நிறைய பேருக்கு வந்து அவர் ரெகுலராக கிளாஸஸ் எல்லாம் எடுத்திருக்கார். உபனிஷத்ஸ், பிரம்மசூத்ரா, பகவத்கீதா, புராணா, சான்ஸ்கிரிட் எல்லாமே வந்து அவரை சொல்லி கொடுத்துருக்கார். ஸோ அந்த 20 years ஃபுல்லாக டீச்சிங் பண்ணிவிட்டு அப்புறம் ரிஷிகேஷில் வந்து அவரை இன்வைட் பண்ணியிருந்தாங்க. அங்கே உபனிஷத் சொல்லி கொடுத்தார் ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ்க்கு. அவருக்கு வந்து ஹிந்தியில் வந்து நல்ல பாண்டித்யம் இருக்குது, பாஷ்யம், டீக்கா எல்லாம் வச்சு எல்லாருக்கும் வந்து அவரை சிஸ்டமேட்டிக்காக சொல்லி கொடுத்துருக்கார். அப்புறம் 2014 பூஜ்ய சுவாமிஜி சொன்னதன் பேரில் இங்கே வந்து இங்கே வந்து ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ்க்கு வந்து 3 year கோர்ஸ், ஃபஸ்ட்டு 3 months கோர்ஸ் ஆரம்பித்து அப்புறம் 3 years கோர்ஸ் ஆரம்பித்து அதுக்கப்புறம் ஆர்ஷ வித்யா குருகுலத்தில் இங்கே வந்து சான்ஸ்கிரிட்டில் எல்லா விஷயத்தையும் சொல்லி கொடுத்து அப்புறம் 108 days ரெசிடென்ஷியல் கோர்ஸ் அது வந்து கண்டக்ட் பண்ணி அதில் வந்து தத்வபோதா, பகவத்கீதா இது எல்லாத்தையும் சொல்லிக் கொடுத்து அப்புறம் ஒரு 2 year ரெசிடென்ஷியல் கோர்ஸ் இங்கே சொல்லிக் கொடுத்து. ஸோ இதிலேருந்து நமக்கு என்ன தெரியறதுன்னா 30 years சுவாமிஜி வந்து கிளாஸஸ் எடுத்திருக்கார். ஸோ அந்த ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ்க்கு எப்படி ப்ரெசென்ட் பண்ணால் அவளுக்கு வந்து நன்னா புரியும் அப்படிங்கிறது வந்து நன்னா தெரிஞ்சதுனால நமக்கு வந்து அவர் வந்து கேனோபனிஷத்துக்கு இங்கே நமக்கு வந்து இனாகுரல் செஷனுக்கு அவர் வந்து பிளெஸ் பண்ணி அவருடைய அனுகிரக பாஷணம் கேட்குறது வந்து நமக்கெல்லாம் ரொம்ப ரொம்ப பெருமை. ஸோ ரொம்ப சந்தோஷம். வி ஆர் ஆல் பிளெஸ்ட். தேங்க்யூ சுவாமிஜி.
ஜி டு ஹானர் சுவாமிஜி.
Srinivas, that mic.
Oh, yes. request Swamiji to give Anugrah Bhashan.
Record this session. Keep the record.
Can I speak for how many times? 15 minutes? Huh? Okay. So we have time.
Yeah.
Oh, English?
Yes, they can understand.
Okay, good. ॐ सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां यस्य कृपाकटाक्षाभ्यां शुभं सर्वं प्रवर्तते दयाराशिं दयानन्दं वन्देऽहं सादरं मुदा वक्रतुण्डमहाकाय सूर्यकोटिसमप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा सरस्वति नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणि विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः. எல்லாருக்கும் வணக்கம். ரொம்ப கொஞ்சம் தெரியும், இப்போதான் தமிழ் கற்றுக்கிறேன். I welcome you all to this place called Arsha Vidya Gurukulam. Gurukulam, a place of learning, receiving Arsha Vidya, the knowledge imparted by Rishi. This place was founded by Pujya Swamiji, Swami Dayananda Saraswati in 1990, and is a place of learning, and this place conducts long-term courses, short-term retreats, and also regular classes. We have regular classes every day. For few days they have been suspended, and every Sunday we have classes for public coming from the city. Today we will contemplate upon what is the purpose of life and how can it be attained. This question, what is the purpose of life, is sometimes asked by a person who is already 75. So he is already 75 and he is asking the question, what is the purpose of life? What does it mean? That he lived his 75 years without knowing the purpose of life? In fact, this question one should ask, what is the purpose of my life? How I look upon this life, what this life is meant for. And the answer is, the purpose of life is to grow to the fullest extent. Fullest extent means as much as you can grow. Not physically. In fact, physically growing too much is not good. So it can harm. But we have got inner growth. And what is the limit of inner growth? Everybody has got some limit. Somebody thinks that if I become the richest person, then I have grown up to the fullest extent. Somebody thinks that if I break this record, like Virat Kohli will think that if I break the record of Sachin Tendulkar, then I have grown up to the fullest extent. He has broken one record, he has to break another record. So 50 centuries here, 49 centuries finished, but 100 century record he has to break. All right. So that is he thinks that the fullest growth. Then some of you might have this that if I have done the yatra, I have pilgrimage of all the Char Dham. You know what are Char Dham, Four Dham? Four Dham, they are considered differently. If you see from the whole India, Char Dham means this Badrinath, then this Jagannath Puri, Dwarkadish, Rameshwaram. These are four Char Dhama. It depends upon whether you are a Vaishnavite or Shaivites, you know. And in North India, Char Dhama means Badrinath, Kedarnath, Gangotri, Yamunotri. These are called Char Dhama. But if overall India, these are Char Dhama. So somebody thinks that what is the purpose of life? Char Dhama. Some people will say Dvadasha Linga. Saurashtre, Somanatham cha, Sri Shailamadlikarjunam. So that is my purpose of life. But our Shastras, our Vedas give the limit of your growth in the attainment of limitless. Brahmavid apnoti param. What is the limit of growth? What is the fullest extent of growth? When you have attained limitless. Nothing can be better than that. Once Puja Swamiji was asked that, Swamiji, isn't there any new version of Vedanta? All the time Brahman, Brahman, Brahman. You don't have anything better than Brahman? No. Vedanta has the last word. In Microsoft, the Windows, you know, we have got Windows 95, 97, 2000, then EXP and 2000, the 10, 7, 10 we have. Here we don't have Vedanta 1, Vedanta 2, Vedanta 2023. We don't have that. Whatever Vedanta was there, this 5000 BC, that is the same Vedanta this Vanitaji, no? Vanitaji is teaching. So you are learning the same Vedanta. And I must congratulate all of you to decide to come to study Vedanta. You are not a small person. You are very, very blessed even to have the mind to study Vedanta. So you are studying the same Vedanta. Why? Because Vedanta is talking about the ultimate. And attainment of the ultimate is the purpose of life. Then how to attain ultimate? Shastra says, Brahmavid apnoti param. Brahmavid means knower of Brahma attains the limitless. Why knowledge of something can get me that thing? Generally, knowing and attaining are two different things. Knowing that there is a computer is one thing, but attaining that computer is different. Knowing that there is idli sambar is one thing, getting it different. If knowing and getting are same, then we don't have to cook. You know, just you think of idli sambar has come. How nice it is. You think of a PhD degree has come. You know. That doesn't happen generally. Knowing and attaining are different. But here, limitless is not something different from you. Limitless is your nature. Limitlessness is your nature. In the vision of Vedanta, I am limitless. But Swamiji, if I am limitless, why I have to attain limitless? Why I don't feel I am limitless? For that, Shastra says, ignorance is the cause for your missing limitless. And many times it happens that something is there with us, but still we miss it. Puja Swamiji gives the example of these glasses. You know, they wear glasses like this, and they forget that their glasses are here. They will be searching, and this man will be asking, where are my glasses? In this house, nothing is remaining in its place. Everything is in mess. All this thing is telling. See, my glasses also don't go down. So, there is a situation where you have thing but you miss it because of ignorance. In fact, this fact needs to be very well assimilated, then only you will understand the role of Vedanta. Ignorance can make me miss something which is already there with me. You have to see so many examples in your life, then only you will see that what Vedanta can do. And so here the vision of Shastra is, even though you are limitless, but because of ignorance you disown limitless. And you must have heard the story of the 10th man. The 10th man is missing the 10th man because of ignorance. And thus, first of all, the limit of the growth is limitless. A beautiful thing. Limit, the final limit, the zenith of growth, the zenith of growth is limitless. Limitless is not by any action, limitless is by removing the ignorance of my being limitless. And ignorance, when did it come? People ask this question. They say, Swamiji, I have a serious question. Very important question. What? Swamiji, when did this ignorance begin? And our answer is, ignorance did not begin. Which is very, very difficult for many intellectuals to swallow it. Swamiji, this is not good, Like it is something like, don't like Karela and how you I serve Karela. Karela, bitter gourd. What they call in Tamil? Pavakai. Pavakai. Swamiji, this Anadi, when my face changes, Anadi. Anadi.
The word itself makes sense.
Anadi, Swamiji. Why Anadi? So all these, gestures happen. I also used to have that. But one thing is that this type of why ignorance is Anadi is a serious problem for those who are thinking little bit. Those who don't think and those who take let it be Anadi, then no problem. But those who are thinking, those who are serious about the pursuit, they said, why ignorance is Anadi? I used to have that, for so many years. Then I understood one thing, that any ignorance, if it is having the beginning, then what was there before the beginning of ignorance? There should be knowledge. Because ignorance is not there, there can be knowledge. And if knowledge is there, why ignorance should come? So ignorance does not have beginning. Not only self-ignorance, any ignorance cannot have beginning. Vichar Sagara, this topic is very exhaustively discussed. What can be, if ignorance has the cause, that ignorance has got the beginning, it must have a cause. And what can be the cause? All three possibilities are raised. Is this world the cause? Is this Sopadika Chaitanyam is the cause? Is Shuddha Chaitanyam? Very exhaustively. It is so exhaustive, you say, yeah, let it be Anadi. Let it be beginningless. Anyway, I don't want to bother you with that. So, ignorance is beginningless. But thank God it is beginningless. It is called teleological argument. Teleological means purpose-based argument. It's called teleological. A teleological argument for ignorance being beginningless is, thank God it is beginningless. You know why? If it has got beginning, then what will happen? With great difficulty you remove ignorance by attending so many retreats, so many classes, so many courses. You remove ignorance. And you remain as Shuddha Chaitanyam, pure consciousness, and then again ignorance will start, because ignorance can start. Thank God it does not start. Thank God it does not start. In fact, that really resolved my issue. Thank God it does not start. Because if it starts, you had it. Again you have to have, like, every day you have to cook. Similarly, every day you every day you have to remove ignorance. Every time you have to remove ignorance. So, ignorance doesn't know how to come, but ignorance knows how to go. And how does ignorance go? It goes in the wake of knowledge. Any ignorance can go in the wake of knowledge. And ignorance cannot go by any other method, not by any action. If there is a darkness in this hall, what is the way to remove this darkness? Can you sweep this darkness out? Can you wash this darkness out? You cannot. You cannot say, I will put so much water so ignorance will be flushed out. That's not possible. You cannot say, I will sweep ignorance. You cannot do that. I will put some air pressure here so ignorance will go away. There is no such situation. Ignorance can go only by knowledge. And one more thing. When knowledge comes, ignorance goes away. Between knowledge and ignorance, removal of ignorance, there is nothing to be done. So ignorance goes by knowledge, and when knowledge comes, nothing else is required for the removal of ignorance. And this ignorance which goes by knowledge, then question would be, what is the means, what is the way of attaining knowledge? So we have come from limitlessness is the goal. Limitlessness is to be attained by removing the ignorance, and ignorance can go by knowledge. Now question would be, what is the means for knowledge? We have 6 means of knowledge in our tradition. Pratyaksha, perception. I am seeing you, perception. Inference. Generally we give the example, seeing the smoke, you infer fire. Anumanam. Not Hanuman, okay? Anuman. People are saying in Tamil Nadu, Anuman, we have to specify. So, it's Anumanam, not Hanumanam. Hanuman is different. Anumana. Then, third is this Arthapatti. Arthapatti means presumption. Presumption means what? You see that person is not eating during the day, but still mota. Mota. Dodda. So he is a mota fellow. So how whole day I am with him and he is not eating and still he is becoming mota and mota every day? Then we presume. What do we presume? He must be eating during the night. That is called presumption. Arthapatti. So today you see that your spouse is angry when he came from the office. So what do? Presumption that boss must have scolded him. That is called Arthapatti. So presumption. Then we have got Upamanam. Means something can be comparable to something else. So it gives you the idea. Like some of you might not have gone to Rishikesh ashram. So I say that Rishikesh ashram or Rishikesh temple is somewhat like this temple. So you get the idea. In Shastra they give the example of this cow. This cow, this Gavayaha, this wild cow is like this cow. And we get the idea of what this Gavaya is. Like he said, how is your Swamiji? It is like my Swamiji. So we get some idea how your Swamiji is. Then we have got this Anupalabdhi. Anupalabdhi is very interesting, Is there an elephant in this hall? Is there? Anna irka? Anna, 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 Anna irka? Ille. Eppadi theriyum? How do you know? Acha, elephant is there in this hall? Even though Anaikatti name is there, but is there elephant in this hall? Not there. So you have the knowledge of the absence of elephant. How did you know the absence of elephant? People say, Swamiji, I am seeing, it is not there. I am seeing elephant is not there. So you have the knowledge of the absence of elephant. And do you see the absence of elephant? You really cannot see. Why? Because our eyes can see only those things which have got forms and colors. Now you tell me, what is the color of the absence of elephant? I am not asking the elephant. What is the color of the absence of elephant? Color ile. Is there? What is the color of the absence of elephant? No. What is the form of the absence of elephant? No. So really speaking, you cannot see the absence of elephant. Still you know. How do you know? So absence of elephant is known by the absence of knowledge. So knowledge of the absence is attained by the absence of knowledge. That is the modus operandi of anupalabdhi, non-comprehension. So by the absence of knowledge, you have got the knowledge of absence. That is how it is. Anupalabdhi. Yadi vidyeta tari upalabhyeta nacha upalabhyate atah nasti. That is how the anupalabdhi pramanam works. Anyway, don't bother about it. It is anupalabdhi only. So anupalabdhi means non-cognition. Swamiji, kuch samajh mein nahi aaya. That is what anupalabdhi is. All right. So all these 5 means of knowledge cannot give you the self-knowledge. Why? Because self does not have any color, does not have any sound, and self is the truth behind the organs. Therefore, this self cannot be known by any one of this. And since perception is not possible, perception-based inference, presumption also not possible. And anupalabdhi also requires some upalabdhi. And therefore, all 5 means of knowledge are not valid. What is the means of knowledge? Shabda pramanam. The words are the last means, possible means for atmajnanam. And words can give the direct knowledge, it can give indirect knowledge, depending upon the nature of the object. And Atma is immediate, aparoksha, and words can give the knowledge of something which is immediate. Like the 10th man is immediate, aparoksha to me, and I can know about the aparoksha dashama by shabda. And therefore, words can give me self-knowledge. And what type of words? Vedanto nama Upanishad pramanam. So what is the pramanam, the means of knowledge for knowing the self? Vedanta, which is otherwise called Upanishad. So Vedanta, which is otherwise called Upanishad, is the means of knowing the self. And considering, looking upon the Upanishads as the means of knowledge is called Shraddha. When we say Shraddha, it means looking upon Vedanta as the direct means of knowing the self. That is called Shraddha, which is one of the important requirements. So how do you get the self-knowledge? By being exposed to the means of knowledge in the form of Upanishad. And those Upanishads you cannot study by yourself. You will, in this Kena Upanishad, you will see the student asks, what is that which is driving everything? Keneshitam padati preshitam mana. I will not give too much about it, otherwise, Swamini will, the Vanitaji will say, Swamiji, you told my subject matter. But the Guru answers, Shrotrasya Shrotram. It is the ear of the ear, it is the eye of the eye, it is the mind of the mind. If you read the translation, nothing you will get. What is this? It is something like, you ask somebody, what is your address? He said, my house is opposite the post office. Where is post office? Opposite my house. Enough prayojanam. So, nothing, no purpose is served. So, shrotrasya shrotram. So, when we don't want to give answer, nowadays people are very smart. They give roundabout answer. Like this. Where is your house? Opposite post office. So, you don't want to give the answer. When I asked somebody in Rishikesh, that what is your name, Brahmachari ji? Then he said, forms is visible, name is not visible, so visible is already visible, invisible will be invisible. Something like that. He didn't want to give his name. So I was okay. So similarly, shrotrasya shrotram will look like that. When we don't want to give answer, we have those ways to answer. If somebody asks, what is your salary? Thoda kuch kamate, 2-4 paisa kamate. We earn 2-3 rupees we earn. So like that you answer. So you don't want to give answer. So if you study Shastra by yourself, you will not understand anything. In fact, I say, with the teacher also you are finding difficult. Imagine what will be without the teacher. It is something like with walker also person finds difficult to walk. Without walker, what will happen? Therefore, we learn the Shastra from a competent traditional teacher. And all of you are fortunate that you have a traditional teacher in her. And people say, Swamiji, that knowledge is only by study. We have heard that by the grace of Guru, by grace of Ishvara, we can get this knowledge. So Swamiji, if by our study alone Shastra is attained, then why are they talking about grace, grace, grace? Even Bhagavan Bhashyakara in Mundaka Upanishad Bhashyam, he says, Guru Prasada Labdham Brahma Vidyam. In Bhashyam, Guru Prasada Labdham Brahma Vidyam. Or Labhyam Brahma Vidyam. Brahma Vidya is that which is attained by the grace of the Guru. So many people have this question, Swamiji, grace will get me or my study will get me? You tell me one thing. We say both. But Swamiji, if my study alone is going to get me, then why should I bother about the grace? Grace has a place. In fact, we talk about 4 types of grace for the attainment of knowledge. The first one is Ishvara Kripa, Ishvara Anugraha, the grace of the Lord. By the grace of the Lord alone, you have got this human body, you have got the desire to get moksha, desire to get knowledge. And because of the grace of Ishvara alone, you have the association with the teachers. So grace of the Lord makes the infrastructure ready for you. Like to do the business, to have the production, you require infrastructure. So by the grace of Ishvara, you attain the infrastructure required for this study. Study is required, but for study to happen, infrastructure is required. That is by the attainment of grace, grace of Ishvara. And how do you attain Ishvara's grace? It is by, Pujya Swamiji used to say 2 things, prayers and reaching out action. Prayer of 3 types, the puja, the worshipping the Lord, chanting the stotras, doing the mental japa, doing upasana, you attain the grace of the Lord. And reaching out, sharing. Share what you have. Pujya Swamiji used to give till it pinches, till it hurts. Share. Those who share, they become really mentally expanded people. Mentally big you can become when you share. And second grace is the grace of the Guru. By Guru's grace alone, this Brahma Vidya will be possible. And what is the grace of Ishvara? A grace of Guru. Generally, people think my grace of Guru means that I don't study and still I get knowledge. That is what people think. That Swamiji, I don't study anything, but I have grace of Guru, so I will get knowledge. That is not correct. Grace of the Guru is the teaching itself. That's a very important thing to note. That teacher's grace is in the form of his or her teaching us. Teaching is grace. He need not teach. She need not teach. But he teaches. The teaching is the grace. And how do we get the grace of the teacher? By having the attitude of Shraddha, by having the devotion to the teacher, and having the readiness to serve the teacher. Shraddha, Bhakti, Seva. These things are required for this attainment of the grace of Guru. Then we require the grace of Shastra. And how Shastra's grace is that we are able to remember Shastra. And when the teacher is teaching, we are able to understand Shastra. We are able to retain Shastra. We are able to recall Shastra whenever required. That is the grace of Shastra. And how you get this grace? By having the reverential attitude to the Shastra. Never put the book down. Never put the books on some shoes or somewhere. Respect Shastra. Don't put your finger on your tongue and then turn the pages. People do that, no? That's a common thing. It's a disrespect to Shastra. Imagine somebody is going to give you some laddu and put his finger in his tongue and then he gives you. You feel bad. Respect Shastra. Every day, namaskara to Shastra. In fact, as far as possible, study Shastra after taking bath. Especially to touch Shastra, I follow that in my life. Very important. Reverential attitude to Shastra. More you respect Shastra, more you will be blessed by Shastra. Like water tank is higher, then the force of the water and the tap will be more. So to the extent you respect Shastra, to that extent you will be blessed. Always respect Shastra. Don't throw away. You go to the room and throw away the book on your table. No, put respectfully. Like child, when you go home, you don't throw. You put child properly, respectfully. Similarly, treat Shastra as the God, Saraswati, Goddess Saraswati itself. So that is the Shastra Krupa. The fourth one is Atma Krupa. The grace of oneself. And what is the grace of oneself? My body, mind, sense complex is cooperative for the pursuit of knowledge. That is the grace of Shastra. Grace of oneself, not Shastra, oneself. Atma Krupa. When I want to study, I can study. When I sit in the class, everything else I can switch off. Like mobile you switch off, you can switch off your mind from everything else. Your sense organs are able to hear, eyes are able to see, your body is able to sit properly for 1 hour, half an hour, whatever time required. That is the grace of oneself. How does grace of oneself is attained? By yuktahara vihara, by moderation in everything, by having the mastery, by practicing the tapas, by having the moderation in everything, and by prayerful life, you can attain the grace of oneself. So you require 4 types of grace: Ishvara, Ishvara Krupa, Guru Krupa, Shastra Krupa, Atma Krupa. So I pray that all of you will have all these 4 types of grace and you will be able to study the Shastra, attain the knowledge, and discover I am free. With this I conclude. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.